Hi guys, this is Jane Johnson, founder of Ecclesia Framework and the Heavenly Realm Support Group on Facebook. One of our mandates is to remove the stumbling blocks out of the way of people doing the new wineskin. And I'm constantly seeing stumbling blocks and traps that people are falling into on our journey. And one of them is the issue around intimacy. So I want to say what I'm hearing a lot is the most important thing is intimacy, and therefore when the going gets tough and people feel I must operate in the seat of rest, they drop lots of other things and just focus on intimacy. Now, first of all, I'd like to just challenge the fact that the most important thing is intimacy. I actually think that's should be phrased, intimacy is a key element in walking in heaven, but it does not rank above other things. It's an equal element that should be balanced with cleansing and responsibility. I'll explain why I have seen that in heaven. There are many different reasons. The first one is around looking at before the fall and in Genesis, and how Adam was what we know of what was said in Genesis in the Garden of Eden. He was told to have dominion, and he actually contributed to the forming of the animals and the naming of them. So he wasn't commanded just to walk in the garden having intimacy with God, but to rule over the garden. And I think this can be illustrated really well in the example of a father having children. A father, yes, he wants intimacy with his children, but that's not the sole thing he wants for his child. He doesn't want his child sat at his lap telling him how wonderful he is 24/7. He wants to see his child grow up to do things in his passion, his calling, contribute, and at the same time have good relations with the father and the family, but certainly for it not to be the primary or sole purpose of his life. That would not be healthy at all. If you looked at the Trinity, they had a wonderful relationship before the creation of the world, but the fruit of that relationship was creation of a world, creation of the Son of Men, and that's why I do not see that intimacy is just the primary purpose of life. I think it has got blown out of proportion with the whole worship movement, and in response to too many works that are done without relationship. And intimacy is important, but that does not mean it is the thing you do before anything else, and only do that. So there are many other reasons when you look at responsibility, how that brings great joy, how you actually can engage in heaven, you can engage with the Trinity, you can engage with the men in white linen, through taking responsibility, which can bring great joy and purpose. And we all have a book of destiny, and when we were in eternity with the Trinity, we actually agreed to come to the earth to perform a purpose to restore the earth. And actually what I'm seeing now is to actually start beginning to co-create a new heaven and a new earth. So we have a huge part. If we just see it as intimacy, my concern is we will miss this huge destiny we are called to. We will play into the enemy's hands, who just thinks that the Father wants us at his feet, telling him how wonderful he is. When the Father appreciates praise and thanksgiving, but does not need our massive time in worshipping him. The angels are designed to worship God. And so that's what I would like to ask you to go away and chew on in heaven. Seek your own revelation with the Father, with wisdom, and see what you conclude. If this triggers, please just be willing to give that mindset up for examination, as we're seeing that many of our mindsets we must surrender. And I only got this revelation when I was willing to surrender every single thing that I believed or acted on or owned or did. And this is what I've seen. So I'll do another recording of some other things around stumbling blocks that I've seen. But you can check out our free pages and go through and see some of the big picture we're seeing at ecclesiaframework.com, and also join in many of our encounter groups or chat groups where you build community and benches. Thanks guys.